Well, hello everybody, and welcome in on this Tuesday. It is November the 18th, and you are watching 270 weather for the 270 area code, and even those area codes beyond the 270. And my name is Chris Allen, as you see right there, right, right there. Okay, got the RNR Controls weather ticker going down at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for joining in after this rainy and somewhat stormy day. Nothing serious, though. Not here. It was pretty much as if you were watching me last night, and if you were watching me this morning on News 40, sunrise, 9 a.m., noontime, and any of the other updates that I did on social media, I pretty much said that I wasn't very confident in the severe weather threat and that it was very conditional. It was not a sure bet, unlike some posts on social media. It would love to scare you to death with what they put out there. It just didn't. Things just didn't add up. That conditional level one marginal risk that was out for much of the 270 was there just in case we did have some hail producing thunderstorms. But we had a canopy of clouds all day today. And if you'll recall, I said if we can keep it cloudy for the most part all day today, after that warm front lifted through this morning and touched off some of those showers early, if we could keep those clouds, then it wouldn't be anything to worry about. And so that's pretty much what happened. There were some pretty decent thunderstorms, around 1 o'clock or so this afternoon, 1 o'clock. Some lightning, pretty good thunder. I mean, it was it was a little noisy for a few minutes, but overall, severe weather threat has been very, very limited, which is certainly good news. Now, I want to show you where some things are continuing to happen as far as any kind of active weather, and that would be out to our west. There's still somewhat of a severe weather threat, which is ongoing. But here's the thing is, as I look out toward my window here, it is after dark. Here it is. What current time is 6:26, almost 6:30. And it's just, we're losing any kind of battle against instability. And the instability hasn't been that bad for us today. So here's a live look at radar as of 6:26, and you can see that not much is going on here. Here's Bowling Green. Here are some of the scattered showers out here ahead of the system, the cold front. That's going to continue to fade away. Here is where we're still seeing some activity as far as, where any kind of maybe wind gust or hail is going on. As we look at this picture, this is where the severe weather is continuing at the moment. Now, the yellow shaded counties in far western Kentucky and parts of northwestern Tennessee, that includes McCracken County, Paducah, and places like Wickliffe and Mayfield and Benton and Murray and Calvert City on the western side of the land between the lakes. That's a severe thunderstorm watch, which is going to continue until 10 p.m., as you see here. Takes in parts of extreme southern Illinois, that far western Kentucky area, southeastern Missouri, northwestern Tennessee, and as I mentioned, until 10 p.m. Central Standard Time this evening. So that is that watch, which is continuing. And now there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 7 p.m. for far western Kentucky, including Fulton, central Hickman, southeastern Mississippi, and east central and New Madrid counties. So there's a cluster of thunderstorms severe from Clinton to near Farrenburg, moving east at 25 miles per hour. Some of the hazards here: 60 mile per hour wind gust and nickel size hail. That is going to continue to affect far western Kentucky. There is a tag, tornado possible tag, but that's only as a precaution because of the way this cell looks. You can see the cluster of thunderstorms and the lightning strikes here. The worst part of the storm, and this is something that is showing maybe a little, I can see a little bit of a hook, maybe nothing that's going to be, and it's pointing to it right there. You see that arrow that just came up? Here is a little hook right here. See that? Okay. There's a little inflow notch right there. So we've got outbound and inbound winds there. A little bit of rotation there. That's on the northwest. Oh, okay. Now they just issued a tornado warning. How about that? Right as I'm talking about it, here comes a tornado warning. And that is for eastern Fulton County and southeastern Mississippi County in southeastern Missouri. And that is right on the Kentucky border. So if you're looking all the way back, let me zoom out a little bit more so you can find your bearings. So this is in the far western corner of Kentucky and far into the 270, as far west as you can go. So they're warning on that because of what I just showed you. There is some rotation there. Will it make it to the ground? That is the question. It has not been a confirmed tornado, but there's enough rotation there that it raises a red flag. Now, I'll be curious to see in the velocity what we're seeing. And yeah, I mean, there is it in that same spot that I just drew for you a moment ago, right in here. You see gate to gate shear. So we've got some rotation that's going on right there. And there's some very broad rotation up here. This would be toward Hallwell, Kentucky, Hickman, north of Hickman, Kentucky. That's a very broad, very big and broad rotation, but this is where it looks a little more suspect when it's tightened up like that. Inbound, outbound winds. So, you're looking live here at 6:32 at something that could maybe produce a tornado. And they may end up warning on this one right up here. If it starts to tighten up a little bit more. But right now it's just a kind of broad. So all of this, though, is moving to the south and east. So what does that mean for those of us here in the Bowling Green area? Well, we're not under this watch. And this particular severe thunderstorm watch and the tornado warning and all, if it goes anywhere, it's going to be moving down toward the Martin, Tennessee area, Dresden, Paris, Tennessee, that area, Big Sandy River. So, and we're way over here, We're way over here to the east. And so here's the other thing. This is holding together because it gained strength just before sunset. But I would say it's going to hold together a little bit longer, and then it will start to weaken as it moves off to the south and east. Will it produce a tornado? Is it producing a tornado? We don't know. But that's the way it looks right now. Now, is any of this, I know some of you are asking, is any of this going to eventually come into the Bowling Green area? Doubtful. Doubtful. This is all confined to western Kentucky and northwestern Tennessee. So it's out of the Bowling Green area, but, you know, it's close enough to bear watching. It's the first actual tornado warning that I've seen today anywhere close to the 270. So little active weather, that little cluster back there. Now, here's the thing that I guess I'm still a little hesitant about, and that is the cold front. It's still back here toward parts of Missouri, Mountain View, West Plains, Missouri, Poplar Bluff. Eventually, we'll be moving through as we get on into tonight. Will there be any development or redevelopment of showers and storms here in the Bowling Green area? Probably not. There could be some, but again, instability levels are lower now because we're after dark. We don't have, and that's what kept us out of the problem areas today. Was we had that canopy of clouds, we had the rain, but nothing that brought on anything worse than that. I didn't even really hear of very many reports of hail. There were some pea-sized hail reports back into western Kentucky, but not much happened here. And so we hope that it's going to stay like that for the rest of the night. But of course, we'll keep an eye on it, as we always do. All right, let's go to the numbers from today. I just wanted to get you caught up on the radar because of that developing cell back there in western Kentucky. For this November 18th, here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, we had a high officially of 72. That's 14 degrees warmer than the normal high of 58. The low was 49. That's as cool as we got today, 49. 0.27 of an inch of rain at the Bowling Green Airport here. That's a little bit over a quarter inch. That's all we had. All we had for today. Now, at this point, talking about severe weather, severe thunderstorms, possibly, you know, with 60 mile per hour wind gusts back there with that cell that's being warned, you got to be thinking, well, somebody could lose power. Yeah, when you get a strong enough storm, it's possible. And what you need is a generator, like that one right there from Generac, the number one name in generators. And our good friends and our sponsor, RNR Controls, knows how to install Generac generators. In fact, they are an authorized dealer. Make sure that when you're getting a generator, especially a Generac, even if you don't get one from R&R Controls, make sure they're a authorized Generac dealer. That way, when it needs service, when it needs looking at, or some preventative maintenance, you've got experts. You've got people that know Generac generators and know what to do in case, you know, it needs something to work better, because you want it to flip on within seconds of you losing power. And as I've been saying here, and for those of you, I see there's a number of new people watching right now that have not watched here before on 270 Weather. Let me just tell you, the reason why we have R&R Controls as our sponsor is because they think about the weather constantly like I do. And they know, like I've been saying, that we're getting ready to move into an active winter season. Now, what do I mean when I say active? I'm talking about just what we're seeing today. Thunderstorms. Yes, it can happen. Does anyone remember December 2021? Oh, do we remember it here in Bowling Green, Kentucky? Wow, do we remember it? Some of you in Western Kentucky, Murray, Kentucky, Benton, Kentucky, Calvert City. Oh, you know about December 2021. Now think about all that power that was lost for days and weeks. If you had a generator and your house is still intact, but the grid has gone down because of severe weather, you could keep going, and your business could have kept going in most cases if you didn't suffer significant damage. But I'm not just talking about storms and tornadoes. I'm talking about an active winter season that could bring snow and ice. Snow, I'm not so worried about. Ice, that's a concern. Do I see any happening on the horizon? No. Social media does. I mean, just doom scroll and you'll find there are people calling for the end of the world once we get in past Thanksgiving. And they're using big fonts and colors and arrows pointing, and oh my gosh, is this the worst thing that's ever happened? Polar vortex is going to be this big monster that comes in and just wreaks havoc after Thanksgiving. Well, it might get a little colder here, but I'm not calling for anything like that. But let's say, for instance, something like that does happen where you get an ice storm. We have had a number of ice storms here in the 270. Wouldn't it be great if we have an ice storm and you keep your heat on, you keep your computers running, you keep your business running? That is all possible with a Generac generator. But you got to have somebody that knows what they're doing to install it, to service it, and to make sure that you're getting everything out of it you can. And that's why there's RNR Controls. So you need to give them a call and let them know that you're interested. You just want to, you're not like, you may not be ready to buy, but at least you can talk to them about how much it costs. Financing, they can set you up with that. It's not as expensive as you may think. So call them 270-777-2024. That's the number, 270-777-2024. Because with RNR Controls, you'll never be without heating, cooling, ventilation, automation, and generator service. Thank you, RNR Controls, for everything that you do and for being sponsors of 270 Weather. Okay, back to the radar, and we'll proceed on here. Let me see the latest on this. Just checking in on this storm once again. Radar indicated possible tornado, but it has not been actually seen. That would be hard to do now. It's after dark, unless there's power flashes or something like that. It's right over Hickman, Kentucky, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. Some quarter-size hail. So there's the very latest on that possible tornado. And as you can see, it is moving southeast. So it's going to move into Tennessee here in a little bit. It's right there on the border. But that's nowhere close to us. Just want to let you know. Just didn't want you to worry. Okay? This is not going to be up on the floor kind of stuff for us. Now, one of the reasons why we had the weather that we had today, it got started with a warm front that came up from out of Tennessee early this morning and touched off a few showers. And there were a couple of rumbles of thunder, no big deal. But notice the warm air only went so far north. Look at all this. The southern tier of counties made it, or still in the 60s, close to 70. How warm did we get? 70s. Look at that. You can see that orange gold color. Those are the 70s. You only had to go a little further north, and you see some places like Litchfield and Grayson County only made it to 57, and we made it to 72 in Bowling Green. And look at these lower 50s, and all the way up in northern Kentucky. Check this out. Up toward Cincinnati, Newport, Covington, 40s. That was their high. High temperature today, 43, 44. But down here in Bowling Green, the high was 72. That's crazy. That's like a almost 40-degree difference. So that's why we ended up with a little more instability, but still the dew points, it took most of the day to get the dew points up there enough to produce thunder and lightning, and what we did have is instability. Thankfully, with the clouds being with us, we didn't get any terrible instability, the kind that would produce severe weather like you saw back there in western Kentucky. How much rain? Well, we said a quarter inch plus, 27 hundredths at the airport. Well, here are the two Kentucky Mesonet sensors, one at the Corvette plant showing 21 hundredths of an inch, and then the one down at the Ag Expo Center, almost a quarter inch, 24 hundredths. And then there were some right on the Tennessee border that didn't pick up anything. You go further north, and that's where we see half inch, 3/4 of an inch, 8/10 of an inch, and then over an inch. That's in Meade County. Brandenburg, Kentucky, on the Ohio River, picked up 1.12. In fact, you just saw it go up from 1.11 to 1.12. That's because they're still getting rain. And look at this. Another reason why it was so chilly up in the northern part of the state, those same places that only made it into the 40s today picked up over 2 inches of rain. Oh, wow. A chilly rain. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Just all kinds of different things happening today in the state of Kentucky. It's a big state, but it just shows you the kind of weather we've experienced today. Winds right now are coming out of the south at about 5 to 10, occasionally a little breezy, but not all that bad. Oops. Okay. Why am I not you guys are not seeing it either, are you? I am so sorry. Let's see. Okay, cannot see. Yeah, okay. All right, you got my attention. Thank you. Now, okay, there is that tornado warning cell back into Tennessee, or actually Kentucky, now moving into Tennessee. Now, let me show you. Sorry. There's the Kentucky Mesonet. Winds south 5 to 10. Here's a look at the big temperature spread near the 70s on the Tennessee border, 50s, and then look at this, 40s up near Cincinnati. That's crazy. And then rainfall, the most rainfall was a chilly rain up near Cincinnati, just over 2 inches of rain today. And then the lesser amounts, believe it or not, were down here in southern Kentucky. There's your almost quarter inch or so. Okay, I apologize for that, because once I get into these graphics, it's kind of hard to maneuver the graphics and see you guys yelling at me. And please yell at me if you need to get it gets my attention. Eventually it gets my attention. I look and I think, wait, something's wrong. Okay. Here's a look at rainfall the next several days, and I really believe we have not seen the worst or the heaviest of the rains. I think they're going to come Thursday. We're going to get a break tomorrow. This one system moves out, and then the next piece of energy that you see west of us, that's going to come in. And so we're looking at adding another couple of inches of rain on top of what we picked up today. It's coming. So stand by. Now, here's the current picture with the fronts moving through with the showers and the thunderstorms. All of this is just about over. Here's midnight. Still a couple of ripples of low pressure and the front that wants to kind of stall a little bit. But I think it's going to come on through as we get into the late night hours, maybe with a few more showers before it all comes to an end, but it will. And then this is what's going to take over. Early tomorrow morning, I think there's going to be dense fog across the 270, even up to the 502 and the 606 and maybe the 615. I think there's going to be some really dense fog in the morning. But much of the day is going to be quiet tomorrow as the front just sits here. Notice the lack of rain. It is just going to be a cloudy, quiet day for Wednesday. But then Wednesday night, we can see the next piece of energy entering screen left. And here it comes. As we're looking at another low pressure system, stalled boundary to the north, cold front to the west, showers and thunderstorms becoming likely. Well, this just reset on me. I am so sorry. Boy, I tell you what, I'm winning tonight, aren't I? Okay. Here is Thursday morning. Tomorrow's just going to be cloudy, but here comes the next system entering the picture from the west on Thursday. Rain and thunderstorms likely, warm front, warm sector, and cold front. Here we go into Friday morning, stalled boundary, waves of low pressure riding along the front. That's going to squeeze out all the moisture that's in the air. It won't be out of here until sometime Saturday. More showers and storms. Sunday, there could be a leftover shower, but that's it. But then look what happens next week. This is Monday. Here comes more rain as we enter Thanksgiving week. And look at next Tuesday. Rain. Rainy, rainy, rainy. I mean, it just keeps coming. Now, what about temperatures? Well, I think we're going to stay warm despite maybe what you've seen on social media. And I know it's just, I keep bringing that up, but I tell you, it is a battle that we constantly fight, because then people who are scared to death or just wondering about this, that, and the other, they come to me, they come to other credible, trusted sources of weather, and they say, number one, why aren't you talking about it? And number two, what does that mean for us? Are they correct? Are they wrong? What's the deal? Now, I don't mind explaining, but that's what this podcast is for, is to explain the weather, to take about 30 minutes each day and explain what I think is going to happen. But to try to knock down some of this social media stuff where people are just going, off the wall with these predictions, it's just a battle that we'll never stop fighting, I think, because they're just going to keep doing it. But here you see there's no big red flags showing that it's going to get so cold that we're going to be in a frozen tundra. The polar vortex is going to come down, this big monster, and it's just going to freeze us all to death. And there's going to be snow, and there's going to be all kinds of issues. What I see there is much of next week and the next weekend is warm, including Thanksgiving. Now, the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, we start to see colder air, yes, but nothing that's really, I mean, is it going to be an anomaly? Maybe by a few degrees. The normal high temperature this time of the year is around 56. So you see, these numbers are running way above normal, warmer than normal. But then try to reset and try to, at least level back out by the time we get to Thanksgiving and Black Friday, which is right there at the end of the block. Yeah, 43 to 23 on Black Friday. Yeah, that's cold. But we've already experienced that once already, a week or so ago. So this is nothing like real unusual. Certainly nothing that would make anybody get on social media and just go berserk. So just simmer down. We're going to get colder. After this, it's December. So yeah, I mean, these things are going to happen. I mean, I don't know what you think is normal, but I don't see anything that's really too far out of hand. It all looks like, so I've seen it before in November and the start of December. It's nothing too wacky that I've ever seen in 40 something years. We're going to have these times where it gets really cold and then warms back up. It's just no big deal. Okay. But we'll keep an eye on it. It is showing some signal that it may really turn cold by the beginning of December. How cold? We'll just have to wait and see. It's too soon to speculate how cold or if we'll get snow around the 1st of December. We'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for screaming at me for not paying attention. Whew. It's been a day. Thank you all. Love you guys. Have a great Tuesday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night around the same time. Or if you'd like to watch me in the morning on TV, turn on WNKY News 40. I'm on live at 6 a.m., then again at 9, then again at noon. God bless.